Oh my God, I just totally got catfished. He looks absolutely nothing like his picture.
So I found out the guy that I've been dating is married with kids. His wife just reached out to me.
Welcome to the meat market. The single scene is a slaughterhouse, and we are here to devour it. We are your hosts. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Jess.
And today's sizzling single is Saima. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So you have had a bad string of dates and some scary situations.
Yes, I have.
We
I
want
sure
to
have.
hear those.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've got two that stick out to me. One, I had a stalker. So basically, I was emailing this guy on an app. Every email he would send back to me would be 2 to 3 pages long. Like, it got to a point where it was like, okay, creepo. Like,
That's a turnoff.
Yeah, big time. And it was about nothing, really. And so finally I was like, this is not working for me. So then I sent an email back saying, I'm not interested. Let's just move on. So then I don't hear from him for months. Next thing I get an email from him. Do you know a good oncologist? I'm in the oncology field. And I ignored it, didn't say anything. And so then I show up to work and I get a text message, not sure how he got my number. He's like, you're so much prettier and taller in person.
That is scary.
I
That
was
would give me
like,
the shivers.
oh my gosh. Yeah, I was like, what the heck? And so then I look at the patient list and I see his name on there. So he's actually a patient of one of my partners. So,
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, but he signed in saying I was his doctor, even though I was not. And the whole time, he just was texting me constantly.
What?
Creepy.
Yes, really creepy. So then I went to my partner and said, you've got to get rid of him. I mean, this is bizarre.
That's like call security. Get this guy out of here.
Exactly.
Psycho.
And unfortunately, my partner was like, no, he's a patient. I've got to take care of him. I'm like, what about me?
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, anyway, he stayed there, got his chemotherapy. Finally, I found him in the room alone, and I went up to him and said, listen, you can't be doing this. Stop your texting. This is a professional setting. Don't do this anymore.
I was just going to ask that. Did he actually need treatment, or was he
He
faking?
apparently did. I
Okay.
thought he was faking it, but how do you fake it?
I know, that's
you know
the
what
thing
I mean?
is like
So-
you can for a while until
Right.
you get the tests back.
Exactly,
And it's, you know.
exactly. But, I was just living on edge, just walking to my car. I was afraid. I had someone walk with me. He would constantly text me. He would bring girls with him, sit in his lap in the chemo room, being rowdy, just trying to make me jealous.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So finally, he was done with his treatments, and I had that talk with him, and I never heard from him again. But oh
Wow.
my gosh, it took me a few months to just not look over my shoulder about that. Yeah.
Seriously.
So you're a doctor. Do you like people to call you Doctor Saima?
No. I mean, that's a job.
Yeah.
That's not completely who I am.
Because I know, like, my brother has his doctor, and he does not like people calling him doctor. But there are some people that you have to call me doctor. I worked hard to get to where I am.
No, absolutely not. No, for me, call me whatever you want. My name's preferable. No, I'm not like that.
Do guys ever get weird about it?
About me being a physician?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. Ooh, you're a doctor. That kind of thing. I'm like, all right, I already know that.
Can you pull out the stethoscope?
Yeah, right? I'm like, no. Then you kind of know, then there's going to be some weird vibes going on. Like,
So did doctors date doctors, doctors date nurses? Is there a lot of that shenanigans?
Yes, yeah, I think, yeah, they do, only because you're constantly with each other. For me, it's like I'm open to meeting all different kinds of people. I don't think you should stick with one profession necessarily. If I meet a great guy who happens to be a doctor, fantastic. If he happens to be something else, great, even better.
Have you ever dated another physician?
I have.
Yeah. Is ego an issue?
No,
or,
it actually wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Luckily, I would not choose to date a guy that was, oh, I'm better than you or I'm smarter than you, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
No,
my
thanks.
my brother-in-law, I always ask my brother-in-law to set me up. I was like, there's got to be somebody good that works in your practice. They're in Dallas, and so I'm always just like,
he's a physician?
He's a surgeon.
Oh, okay,
yes,
yeah.
yes. And so I'm always like, there's got to be somebody. And we're always, and he's like, listen, he's like, all of my colleagues, they're either married or they're weird.
Yeah.
So it's like,
well, isn't that funny? Because, a lot of times I ask my friends, I was over that whole app thing, and I said, hey, do you have guy friends that you can set me up with? Like, yeah, we have friends, but nobody would set you up with. I'm like, what kind of friends do you have then? I mean, like, what's the deal with that?
Well, it's funny because doctors always comes up as the number one profession that cheats. Doctors and nurses.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Because it's like Grey's Anatomy, right?
Yeah.
Like it's all like.
Well, it depends on if your spouse understands.
Yes.
You know, because it's a very hectic schedule. You're very busy. You're not always home, not always available. So someone has to be really understanding of that. And so sometimes if the spouse or significant other doesn't understand your schedule, that can be pretty tough.
Well, and especially if they meet later in the career, like with my brother-in-law and my sister, they met while she was in her DNP program and he was in his pre-med. Exactly. You know what I mean? So they understood each other's, the dynamic of that comes along with each other's careers. And it's like now they work together and she is his nurse. You know what I mean? So it works for them.
Right.
And so sometimes I feel like if you're coming in and you're dating or trying to date someone who's already established in that career, that's when you have the issues of the not trusting because of the late nights and things like that.
Well, I think a lot of people watch TV and see the glamorous,
also, yes,
picture of what a doctor is, and that's not always the case. It's not. It's very unglamorous, trust me. So, yeah.
So you date all ranges. You're willing to date from 30 to 60. Is there a difference in...
you just never know. I mean, there's some mature 30-year-olds and immature 60-year-olds.
It's very true.
To me, age is just a number. I mean, honestly, you just have to be open. Otherwise, if you're limiting yourself to just a small group of people, then it's going to be pretty tough.
Is the stamina better in the younger guys?
I would assume so. Good answer. But then again, older men have meds.
That is true.
There are ways around that.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you feel about being a sugar mama?
Ooh, I don't know.
Wouldn't want to do that?
No, I don't think so. No.
If he's younger, he has to be still established.
Absolutely. Because for me, it's a respect thing. Mm-hmm. That's key. I tend to lose respect for people if they don't respect themselves. Mm-hmm. So to me, that would be a turnoff, big time.
That's fair. So I agree.
Easy answer.
And did you grow up in Arizona?
No, actually, long story short, I was born in Romania, grew up in New Jersey, and then lived in Oklahoma. That's where I went to med school.
Really?
And then been in Arizona now almost 20 years. So,
wow.
Yeah, so been all over. Yeah.
Have you dated in multiple states or?
I was pretty young. Obviously in New Jersey, I was, just 10 years old or 12 years old, and then came to Oklahoma. Again, as I mentioned, I came from a sort of conservative culture. So dating was not allowed. It was more, you got to study, you've got to, do well in school. That's your focus, that kind of thing. So I dated on the sly.
Do they, with your family and your culture, do they do arranged marriages?
No. My parents they were a love marriage.
Okay.
If anything, now my parents regret it. They're like, Saima, we should have let you date.
Yeah.
So.
It was more just strict about dating.
I think it was more just not losing track.
Okay.
My parents are physicians as well. And so I think they're like, just do well. And then, work hard now, have your fun later kind of thing. So.
And now you are ready to have your fun.
Heck yeah. Absolutely.
When was your last long-term relationship?
I would say it's actually been a few years. I mean, I dated here and there, but a long-term relationship, it's been a few years.
Have you been married before?
No.
Are you looking to get married?
Open to it.
Open to it, okay.
But
you don't have to get married.
But it's not necessary. Yeah. I'm not looking to have kids at this point.
No.
Like my own kids. Whether someone has kids, that's a different story. But yeah, I don't think biologically I
would you date a guy with young kids?
I'm open to it.
Okay.
If they are flexible, meaning, I understand kids are, going to be the priority. I understand that. And that might actually be to the advantage because I'm busy. I want my own life as well. So if they're busy with the kids, I'll do my thing.
Yeah.
It could work out.
Yeah.
So I'm not closed-minded about that. Yeah.
So you made the comment that you get bored easily.
I do.
Do you think maybe you have a fear of commitment or?
I wondered that. No, I don't think so. I think for me, it's just, I with what I do for a living, life is short. Mm-hmm. So the same old, I get it. Every relationship will have that static kind of feeling. But to me, it's like, let's keep it interesting. I want to be dating someone for the rest of my life, So I think that's what it is. Mm-hmm. And I'm the kind of person who mentally always has to be stimulated. So I think a relationship has to be that way for me.
Yeah.
Are you on the dating apps?
I was, not anymore.
Because you had mentioned you went on a date and he was 40 minutes late.
Oh, yeah, that was my other disaster date. Yeah, so this guy basically showed up 40 minutes late. He smelled.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, it was, oh my gosh, he looked nothing like his picture. And the waitress and I got to know each other and we chatted and she like was behind him and was like, She was like, go, leave. So I basically took my phone out and pretended I had a call for work and I just left.
Didn't we have a guest on recently who also was on a date with a smelly guy?
Yes.
What is up with
Like
these
hygiene
men
people,
not-
take a shower at least, put some deodorant on.
Who goes on a date when you sing?
I was just thinking, I was like, am I having deja vu or am I remembering what we talked about previously? No, I'm pretty sure we had someone else on that was with a stinky guy.
I mean, I get it if you're coming from work. Wipe something,
Yeah.
You know, come on.
So wait, 40 minutes. Did he let you know he was going to be late?
No text.
What
Nothing.
was his
I'm
excuse?
shocked that I actually stayed that long, but I started chatting with the waitress. I mean, I'm one of those people, like, I like to talk to everybody, you know.
Well, and if you're somewhere, you might as well enjoy.
I did. I got myself a drink. I mean, I ended up
yeah.
just, you know, having a nice meal, chatting with this lovely waitress, you know, became friends with her, actually.
Did he have an excuse? Did he apologize?
He was like, I guess I'm a little late. I'm like, a little, dude. You know, no.
I guess.
No, yeah, heck yeah, you're very late. And I confronted him. I'm like, hey, you're very late. This is extremely obnoxious of you to do that. Oh, well, I'm sorry. You know, yeah.
And then he sung. Were there any redeeming qualities about him?
No, absolutely none. And then as I left to run away, he was following me.
No! Oh,
He's like, can I call you again? And I'm like, no.
Wait, you want to go get another drink?
Obviously, he didn't get the hint. Not the brightest. So,
What do you do in your free time? Tell us about you.
I'm very athletic, so I love to work out. I've been an athlete all my life. So since I was young, I played sports, lacrosse, field hockey, basketball, you name it. And then when I got to college, I did the Jane Fonda workouts, you know, the step aerobics and stuff like that. And then, you know, at 45, Orange Theory became the thing. And then now I'm into weightlifting. So that's just my passion. I love doing it.
And you recently were featured in a local magazine. Is that right? Is that,
which one?
Or, I'm not.
Yeah, which one?
For fitness, was there something about fitness?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there was 40 women over 40.
Okay.
I don't think I mentioned that. Did you find it?
Our mutual friend told me.
Oh, she did. Okay.
We've been stalking you.
Our mutual friend told me, and I forgot to ask you about it when I have not looked.
Okay.
No.
You know, again, I'm very camera shy, and you know, I don't love to get my picture taken. But I thought, you know, at this point in my life, do what's scary. You know, do something for yourself. And you know, I am into the fitness, obviously, and I was in a phase where I was kind of leaning out, looked, I thought, very, very good, and I wanted to capture that.
Yeah.
And
for
I was
you.
going to ask, has it come out yet, or
it is out.
It is.
I have the pictures.
Do you?
Yes.
Have you gotten any feedback? I was wondering if
Everyone loves them. I mean,
or
it's
if you've had any guys reach out to you that are like, oh,
I haven't posted it on social
you
media
haven't.
yet, so
Okay.
I haven't done that.
Okay.
I should.
Yeah.
I think I should.
Put yourself out there.
Exactly.
One more way to put yourself out there.
Absolutely. But I have shown a lot of people, and
Yeah.
everyone's given me fabulous feedback.
Oh,
I mean, there were a
good.
few where, you know, I had a health scare, and you know, we wanted to feature kind of like the cancer part aspect of it, and so you know, I have one where I'm not wearing anything and I'm covered, and it just turned out to be the most
cool.
classy, beautiful picture.
Yeah.
I was shy about doing it, didn't want to do it, but it turned out amazing. So
Good.
yeah.
And now describe your ideal partner.
Ooh, for me, I would want someone who's emotionally intelligent, like meaning who's done the work, both inside and out. Someone who's either done the therapy, read the books, you know, just figured himself out, knows what he wants, is passionate about something, and is happy. And what I mean by happy is meaning, do they love what they do? Are they happy with how much money they're making? I don't care what that is, but are they happy with that? And are they living a happy life? And to me, that would be lovely to have, to see that in someone. And then someone who's done the work on the outside too, like someone who also likes to be, work out and take self-care, someone who gets massages or sauna, anything that they enjoy that makes them feel and look better. To me, that's so important. I'm someone who's very much into nutrition and working out, so that's important to me. I log my food. I, monitor what I eat. I still like to have fun.
Do you cook?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to cook?
It depends. I mean, it depends on my mood, So I love sushi, but
Okay.
that's not easy to make.
Yeah,
So I go out for that more often. But I think at home, it's just really just healthy food, anything that's nutritious and I try to make it fun and make it taste good so it's not boring, like chicken and broccoli kind of,
right?
You know.
What are your deal breakers in a man?
Ooh, yeah. I don't like people who are into smoking, like smoking, drugs, that kind of stuff. I mean, to me, that's a numbing thing and escape. Sure, people can have fun. I'm not like a prude here, but at the same time, that also makes me feel like they're not valuing their health. So that's a deal breaker for me, for sure. I think someone who's jealous, angry, unhappy.
Such a turn off.
You know, yeah. To me, joy and happiness is huge. And if you have the complete opposite, nagging, judgment, you know, I don't like judgmental people who are constantly, you can have opinions and be passionate about your beliefs. I respect that, but then don't judge other people about it, you know, respect them.
I think people who are just generally pessimistic or negative, who
yes.
always see the negative
yes.
in things, or they hear
that's
something
a deal breaker
and they
for sure.
automatically assume the worst or automatically go to a negative thought.
Yep.
I find
100%
I don't get
agree.
along well with people that
It's
are
the energy
always
too.
negative.
It's just at this point, again, life is short. I want to surround myself with happy, good energy, you know? So yeah, I'm with you.
And now what about physical? What's your physical type?
I think fit, you know,
Yeah.
someone who takes
Do you
care
like
of
tall?
themselves.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'7".
Okay.
Yeah, I do like tall, but again, not a deal breaker, you know, because that's the superficial. I don't think I want to hold on to that, but I do like a man, you know, someone who just feels big. I like someone who's a little edgier, who's a little rough. Like my dream celebrity is Tom Hardy. Is that his name?
Oh,
Yeah, Tom Hardy. Yeah. I hope I didn't get that wrong. I don't know. He seems nice guy. He loves animals. He just seems kind. He's fit, edgy looking. You know, not like the typical beautiful man, but you know, to me, I love that.
A little rough around the edges.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, why didn't it work out with your ex? Did we talk about that?
The last long-term
Yeah, your
relationship?
last long-term relationship. What happened there, if you don't mind us asking?
No, I don't mind. He became like a brother.
Oh, that's the worst. When you really care about them and you love them,
I
but
love
like
him.
a brother.
I still love him. I still think about him all the time. I mean, he was such a lovely person, but he was just like my pal, you know, which is great. You want to be best friends with who you're with, but
You
there's
also
got to be a
wanna
little
be-
chemistry
Still,
going on.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, there still has to be the spark. There still has to be the chemistry.
Yeah.
You have to want to be intimate with them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Was he devastated?
No, I think we both knew. I dated him for 10 years. So
okay.
yeah, I'm very loyal. You know, I'm one of those people where I knew kind of almost halfway through that this wasn't going to work, but I thought maybe this is how it's supposed to be. And
Maybe it was just like a lull in
yeah,
the
exactly.
sort of roller
Maybe this will
coaster
get
of
better,
life.
you know,
Yeah.
but it didn't. So,
Yeah.
and then we both mutually broke up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any crazy, unique talents that not many people know?
Oh, wow.
Or unique facts about yourself that you don't tell too many?
Oh, I always have a lot of secrets. But let's see. I'm trying to think of something quirky that I do. Oh my gosh.
Can you sing or dance or?
No. Oh, I can dance, but I can't sing worth anything. So no, that's not I wouldn't say that's a talent. Oh my God, I can do handstands.
Can you
I can
really?
walk.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know.
That's
kind
hard.
of fun.
That is hard.
That's strong.
I'll try. A lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of practice.
I can do wall handstands.
Yeah.
And I can do a regular handstand for like 3 seconds. Maybe.
So for me, it's just like anything athletic. I will challenge myself. You know, pull-ups. I love those. You know, those kind of things.
That takes discipline, I feel.
Yeah. I think anyone who looks fit, it just shows that they have discipline.
Right? It's true.
And that's the reason why I like fit people, is because they have that discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is very true.
It's not like the kids in kindergarten cop, you lack discipline.
Yeah, exactly. For me, it's like on my schedule. Like I already, I know that's what I'm going to do. It's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just don't make excuses.
I think anybody who truly is into the fitness lifestyle or lives a fit lifestyle is that way.
Yeah.
Because I've dated guys too who are like, oh yeah, I go to the gym every day. And then we start to hang out a little bit more. And then it's like, oh, so how was your workout this morning? Oh, I didn't go. And it was like, wait, what do you mean? Because at the beginning of this, you told me that you work out every day. So you don't work out every day.
Right.
And it's fine to skip a day here or there.
Sure.
But I find that a lot of times people, they project what they want to be, not
Or what they think you want them to be.
Or what they think you want them to be, yes.
Yes, exactly.
Not necessarily what they truly are.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in action, not talk.
Yes.
Action speak louder than words.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. But there's a fine line. I mean, you don't need to be obsessive about it either. Like,
for sure.
I do, have the ice cream, have fun, and skip that occasional workout.
Yes.
I mean, don't be so rigid.
Yeah.
There are some fitness people I've met who are a
for
little
sure.
much.
For sure.
Yeah.
Are you ready for it?
I'm ready for it. The Keep More Minute brought to you by Tactical Tax Strategies. They help you keep more in your wallet. We help you keep more in your relationship. So we have listener question.
Okay.
That we will talk about. This one comes from Amy. She says, I've been seeing a guy who's basically allergic to commitment, but the sexual chemistry is insane. The best I've ever had. I'm addicted. Am I wasting my time or riding it out, literally, until someone better comes along?
That could turn into something more. I've known people that they're dating guys that don't want anything serious. They're scared of commitment, but they end up falling in love and they end up staying together.
Right. Well, it also depends what she wants. I mean, if she's just in it for the sexual part and enjoying it and having fun, why not?
But if she's looking to get married in the next
That's
year.
true.
Yeah, exactly. And how long did you say they were together?
I don't think it said.
Yeah, I mean, if she's been with this guy for a while, like years, and he still hasn't committed, and that's what she wants, then that's a problem.
That's true, because you don't want to waste your time. You don't want to be
Exactly.
waiting for like 10 years and then he still doesn't want to commit.
I mean,
and
she's
you wasted 10
obviously
years.
asking, which means she's unhappy.
Yes.
So,
yeah. It just says I've been seeing. So who knows how long it is.
right.
But I think she needs to figure out like truly what is it she wants out of the relationship, because if she wants commitment,
then this
she
isn't
might
gonna
not
work. Yeah.
get that.
Exactly.
So I feel like she needs to have a chat with him. And then if he still says, no, I'm not ready, she needs to leave. And maybe then he'll be like, oh, shoot.
Sometimes guys do wake up and they're like, oh, crap. Yeah, I better give her what she wants because I want her.
But I think she also has to figure out what she wants too. Because if she truly, sometimes that happens, I feel like we think we want the commitment. And then when the commitment happens, that's when it doesn't work anymore.
Exactly.
And so I think she first needs to figure out what exactly she wants, have a conversation with him, and then
100%.
Go from there.
Agreed. So we're going to chat about an article.
Okay.
Dating advice from the 1930s that might not be appreciated today. Some of them I think still ring true. So the first one is don't get drunk. A 1938 article warned women that getting boozed up on a date was a big no-no. Not only will they appear silly rather than clever, but they'll also embarrass their date. The last straw is to pass out from too much liquor. Chances are your date will never want to call you again.
Oh, gosh.
Isn't it funny that in the 30s, it was like the woman don't get drunk.
Right, exactly.
Because for me, it's unattractive when the man I'm with gets too drunk on the
exactly.
first
And
date.
Exactly.
you're going to embarrass him.
I don't think it's even about that. I mean, it's for you.
Right,
I mean,
it's
you
for
want
you.
to have the wherewithal to
Exactly.
be there and be present.
In the world we live in now,
exactly.
for sure.
Oh, for sure.
I could care less what he I mean, it's not about him. It's for myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think that one still rings true.
I agree, though. I mean, don't get drunk on a date.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's not
Either way,
attractive.
man.
Just the way it's written in the 30s is interesting versus how it would be written today.
Absolutely.
But I agree. If you're a man or woman,
yeah.
don't get drunk on a first date.
Have your mom send you flowers. Another article from the 30s talks about the importance of cultivating an image of popularity to get dates. It advises during your first term, get home talent to ply you with letters, telegrams, and invitations. College men will think, ooh, she must be attractive if she can rate all that attention. The article further suggests to have your mom send you flowers to impress men and to shut the lights in your dorm room at night so no one will think you're home if you don't have a date.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's hilarious.
All right. No, I'm not down with that.
How exhausting.
No.
And expensive.
Well, plus I'm not a fan of fake.
It's
you know?
it's so inauthentic.
You've got to be authentic. Be yourself.
But do you remember the movie Clueless? I watched that
Yes.
recently,
Yes.
and she sends herself flowers.
Oh,
Remember that?
she does.
but
It's a class.
It's a class.
Yes, she
There's
sends
some, I don't know. There's some sadness.
And I
to
guess
that.
Glenda in Wicked, the show Wicked, I guess she does that.
Yeah.
I'm with
I mean, you
though.
can send flowers to yourself for fun. I mean, if you
If
enjoy
you want
it,
them,
but not to
yeah.
impress
Not
the
to impress
guy
others.
or think that you're so
and that's
popular.
the thing. Like I buy flowers at the
All the
grocery
time,
store
yeah.
every week, but
It's for
Nobody
you.
sees them except for me.
It shouldn't be for any. You shouldn't do anything for anyone else to have this image.
That's so
I
funny.
I disagree.
Stay mum on the dance floor. Another word of advice from the 30s was to avoid boring your date with talk about clothes and to flatter your date by talking about the things that he wants to talk about. It also recommends acting interested in anything that he says. In a book, How to Win and Hold a Husband, Dorothy Dix puts it more bluntly. Don't talk too much. Above all, don't talk about yourself. Ever. Men have a horror of girls who babble on. Men like to talk about themselves, and what they want is an intelligent listener. According to this article, you should keep those lips sealed, even on the dance floor, because when a man dances, he wants to dance. So no chatter whilst doing the cha-cha.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's awful.
That's funny.
Like, it's sad that women had to,
Right.
listen to this advice in those days if they wanted to win themselves a husband.
Oh, no. I mean, no.
Then there's no crying in baseball or dating. This same article recommends you don't turn on the tears in a man's company because men should not have their emotions worked on, and men don't like tears, especially in public places. Dorothy states, men do not like sentimental women.
Oh, that's funny.
I mean, maybe on the first date you don't want to be bawling.
No, yeah.
I mean, I get that. That's a little weird, but
But if you can't cry in front of the guy that you're dating, then it's a problem.
Exactly.
Right?
But it should. I think you should wait before you get super
Maybe till the third
emotional.
date.
Exactly. Let's not be dramatic in the beginning.
The third date rule. Chewing gum is a turn-off. Stick to mints and not gum if you want to keep your man happy. According to the 30s, chewing gum was not advised. However, if you must, it was advisable to do so with your mouth shut.
So don't chew it, just have it in your mouth.
So many rules.
I know.
How
But
sad.
I agree. I mean, it is a little rude to be smacking on gum.
It is kind of true.
Yeah.
Never ever touch up your makeup in his rear view mirror. The article suggests to dress in your boudoir to keep your allure, and that includes makeup too. And don't even think about touching up your lipstick in front of him or blotting your lips with his hanky. Okay, that's kind of weird. Oh, and never use the car's rear view mirror to check your makeup because men need it to drive, and it annoys them very much when they have to run around to see what's behind, turn it around to see what's behind them.
I don't know. I've had guys tell me it's sexy when they see a girl putting on lipstick or something like that. You know?
Yeah. Well, anything that draws attention to the lips,
Exactly.
I feel like
Exactly.
it's like a turn on
No,
for
that's
guys,
nonsense.
probably.
Waiting isn't a virtue when it comes to dating. Don't keep him waiting. Greet him with a smile. But according to the article, you don't want to be so hasty that you forget to wear a brassiere.
Okay, I might actually agree with that.
I like it if you forgot to wear a brassiere.
Oh my gosh.
Well, and it's funny because like we were just talking about how late the guy was to your
don't
date.
keep him waiting.
So
Right.
don't
Be
keep
rude.
him
I
waiting.
agree with that one.
But men also, the
Yes.
ones that still ring
Right.
true, now go both ways. Because it's
Absolutely.
like, you know,
Yeah.
we shouldn't be keeping men waiting, but men also shouldn't be keeping us waiting
waiting either.
either.
Yeah.
But I bet back in those days, it's acceptable for him to keep you waiting because he's got to work. He's working hard. You know, they would
true.
justify it.
Right.
It's true.
No. Yeah.
Don't overdress to impress. Don't overdo it. Another book from the 30s states she scares him off when she decks herself out in what looks like $1 million worth of finery. In other words, he'll think he can't afford to date you if you're too dressed up.
Yeah, well, weed them out.
Right?
Yeah, there you go. If you feel like it, go for it. But yeah, I mean, you don't want to be in a ballroom gown on your first date.
You're going to happy hour in a black tie.
Yeah, exactly.
Put down the phone. In Dorothy's book, she's adamant that gals trying to snag a guy stay away from the telephone. Don't call a boy up over the telephone during business hours. He will hate you for it because you are jeopardizing his job. There is no surer way for a girl to make herself unpopular with men than to be a telephone hound.
Oh, geez.
Is that kind of similar to now constant texting?
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like
I
if you're
think so,
constantly
the
calling him, that is kind of
I
annoying.
agree with that. You don't want to be constantly doing it.
Yeah.
But I would reach out to a guy. Why not? You know?
Right.
This one cracks me up. Take a trip abroad. It was advised if you're the old maid left on the shelf, take a trip overseas. Before succumbing to the inevitable, she might give herself one more chance by making a change in her environment. Many a girl who is a social failure at home is a success abroad. Many a girl whom the boys on Main Street couldn't see becomes one whom strange men behold with admiration.
I mean, I don't disagree with traveling. Why not? But I don't agree with the reasoning behind it.
No, it's because strange.
In the olden days, what was it like 30? Then you're the old maid left on the shelf because they got married. So I think my grandma was like 16 when she got married.
Yeah, I know.
That's so funny.
A couple more. Over 30, take matters into your own hands. Basically, they say, hey, if you're too old, go out and get them. Be the aggressor. And then play a good game of bridge. According to Dorothy's dating tips, you shouldn't count on getting by with just a pretty face. You better have a bag of tricks to entertain your guy and keep him interested. She has to know how to be entertaining and amusing, how to dance and play a good game of bridge, how to fit in any company. Only senile grandpas fall for beautiful but not dumb. And Venus herself would be a wallflower if she had to be towed around a ballroom floor or trumped her partner's ace. Right, Dorothy.
That's funny. Do you guys know how to play bridge?
No, I actually don't.
You don't?
No.
Oh, bridge is fun.
Is it really?
Yeah. But I always thought it was a woman's game traditionally. I didn't know. Maybe back in the day, men played
maybe.
bridge too. But
so
that's funny.
Here, I feel like it's all about the men and pleasing the men and how the men feel and what the men want.
Right, no.
Miserable.
But I think, like you said before, that was also the day where the man was the one that was working. The man was the one that was financially the provider.
Right.
The women didn't work. They stayed home.
Right.
And so it's that...
Very different roles, for sure.
The times were different.
Well, if you look at like all the romantic songs in the olden days, it's like, I want to marry you if love was made for me and you. And now you listen to the songs and it's like, I want to spit, I want to gulp, I want to gag, I want to choke. And, you know, drop it on a B-I-T-C-H.
Right.
You know, it was
Bust it open.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, there should be something in the middle there.
I know. We've come so far to the extreme, I think,
Exactly.
since the 30s.
Isn't it kind of creepy how a lot of the songs are males singing back in those old days and they're singing about like 16-year-olds?
I know.
Isn't that kind of about, I mean, women did get married at 16. They were
True.
giving birth at 16, but it's kind of now it's kind of creepy, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I know.
Now times have changed.
Times definitely have changed. I'm curious to see 20 years from now what it'll be like.
Right,
know?
that's a good point. Yeah.
know.
So now it's time for the celebrity cut where we marinate in the juices of the celebrities. So have you heard the Brooklyn Beckham drama with his wife, Nicola Peltz?
Sort of. I don't know the details.
They're estranged.
Yes.
I guess, David Beckham, it's Sir David Beckham now. He was recently knighted, and Brooklyn Beckham didn't, do a post or congratulate him. He didn't go to his 50th birthday party. So they're like very estranged. And initially it came out that there was some drama between her not wearing Victoria Beckham's wedding dress that she designed. Did you hear about that?
Oh, no.
So Victoria's camp, they claimed that it was Nicola because she at the last minute decided not to wear Victoria Beckham's dress and changed to a different designer. But it's come out now. Have you heard this? That the real reason is because on their wedding day, you know how the bride and groom have their first dance. So Mark Anthony gifted them a performance on their wedding day. For free, he was going to sing and perform at their wedding. Well, then before the first dance, he gets up there and he says, okay, now we're going to welcome the most beautiful woman in the room, Victoria Beckham. And then she gets up and does the first dance, the mother-son dance before the first dance. So that apparently is why they... And I can understand that.
It's the bride's day.
It's the bride's day. It's all about her.
Yes.
Like, that's bad.
That
so
is
now
bad.
I'm like, I love the Beckhams, but I'm like, oh, if that's true, I'm team Nicola Peltz.
I agree. Oh, that's too bad.
And especially not to talk about it. If you're going to do that, make sure it's okay with the bride and the groom. And I'm sure she would have been like, that's fine, you know.
But do you feel like she did it because of the wedding dress thing? Was it a petty tit for tat?
Oh,
I wonder if it was a last minute thing where because she was a singer, right? She was in Spice Girls. And so I bet
Would
she
we
has...
say she's a singer? Oh, yeah, she was in a group, yeah.
But I'm sure she has some sort of a connection to Mark Anthony where she could have gotten in touch with him or whatever. And so was it a last minute plan, change of plans when she felt burned
by the dress.
But
then Nicola's camp is saying that she wanted to wear the dress, but they couldn't make the alterations in time, or it was something about the deadline that it wasn't working for that dress to be worn by her.
That was the statement that they put out to the public. But
Something
was
like
that
who
really
who
true?
knows? I don't know.
This is just so petty.
It is,
I mean, to me, I just think this is your family.
That's how I am.
What dress you wear. I mean, you wear a bag for all I care. You know, I mean,
Right.
seriously, it should be about the bride and the groom. home and your kids.
And then to steal that moment.
I know.
From
Exactly.
That is bad,
the
yeah.
daughter-in-law.
But I'm with you. Family's so strong, like, and it is petty, tit for tat kind of thing. Like, at the end of the day, it's family. And the Beckhams are such a close family.
Right.
I love them, and they
I'm
do
shocked
seem
by
like
all of this.
right.
Yeah, that this is going on.
That's
if
why
it's true.
people are shocked, and it's huge because they're typically a very close family. So that's why I think people are pegging it on Nicola. Oh, she's the bad influence. She's the reason for this. But we don't know.
Yeah. Well, in Victoria, there's this video it's really funny because she's talking about her childhood, and it's an interview in her home, I think. And she's talking about how she had humble beginnings and how her family was this, you know, they did okay, but they weren't this like well-to-do family. And then David sticks his head out of the corner and he's like, stop lying. Tell them what your father drove when you were a child. And she was like, well, I mean, he drove a Rolls Royce, but like, that doesn't matter. Or it was something crazy like that where she was trying to be relatable
See,
on the camera.
But then you're not authentic.
But then you're
don't like
exactly, you're not
that.
authentic.
Yeah.
So I can sort of believe that Victoria did the wedding thing to be petty and to be spiteful, because I've seen a couple of other videos and things of her where it's like she's not necessarily a genuine person.
Oh, that's too bad.
It seems.
Did you see that Ali G interview back in the day where he was interviewing Posh and Bex, and he said, oh yeah, does your son want to be a famous footballer like your dad? Does your daughter want to be a famous singer like Madonna, like Mariah Carey? That made me laugh. So
funny.
what's your favorite place to go on a first date?
Ooh, for me, you know, the whole restaurant thing is just, it's old. You know, for me, let's do something different, something fun, you know, like whether it's outdoors, maybe go do a workout or...
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that would be fun. I actually did that with a girlfriend, a girl date. So we went and worked out and then we grabbed something to eat afterwards. So
I think that is a good workout. Do you do yoga?
I do.
I feel like yoga's a good date.
Absolutely. Like you're chill,
Yes, I like,
relaxed.
there's a yin nidra on Friday nights that I like to go to because it's not heated, so you're not getting sweaty.
So anyone can do it.
And anyone can do it.
Yeah.
And it's just like a very nice grounding.
Yeah.
I think that would make a great date for a workout.
So you had said you'd like to work out on a first date, but does that mean you have to work out together? Like, because how do you spend time together while working out?
Well, we could do, it depends. I mean, what he's into, you know, maybe the first, like the class itself, you're just kind of doing things on your own, like in a class, or if you're at the gym, you could talk and work out with weights and then meet up afterwards and hang out. Because then you've shared that together, that event.
Well, and there are workouts, like if you're talking like Orange Theory or berries or something like that, where you're able to choose where you are in the room.
Or talk to each other while you're working out.
So like my sister and I will go to berries and then we'll make sure that we choose treadmills that are right next to each other so that while we're working out, you know, we can still talk and hang out and be present with each other.
Right.
So I think there are ways.
And it doesn't have to be a workout. Maybe like a fun art class or something. Like we're, you know,
I love
there's
those.
a few like wine and art class, you know, that kind of
Sip
thing.
and paint. I love
just
those.
something fun like that, or
But an activity,
like a
like
fun
some sort of
golf,
activity.
you know, something top golf, or you know, just
Or
something.
bowling. I love
or
bowling.
Yeah, exactly. I'm down. Yeah, anything. And even if it's something I haven't tried and he loves it, I'm open to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm adventurous. So I like to try different things.
Now it's time to get to know you with Zoyo, sponsored by Zoyo, your neighborhood yogurt. Rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Right. Yes.
The best or worst pickup line that you've ever heard?
Ooh.
Or a line that you use?
I don't use lines. That's not me. The worst line, I would say, ooh, what's your sign?
Really?
Cheesy.
People say that?
People
Oh, that
still
is
say
so not
yeah,
creative.
Cheesy. Yeah. I was like, really? People still do that?
And that doesn't really open it up to a good conversation because you say, oh, Taurus.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I didn't even answer. I'm like, really? I'm like, why?
Also, guys using that line, do they actually know anything
I don't think they
about
do.
astrology, or are they just
It's a girl thing.
It is a girl thing, isn't it?
That is
Not
the
too many
worst
guys
line.
are into
Yeah.
astrology.
Yeah.
They're looking up their horoscope daily, you know?
lame.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Favorite body parts on a partner? Eyes.
I love the eyes.
What gives you the ick?
Ooh. I would say smells. Like if you're smelly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I still can't believe someone would
I
show
know.
up to a date.
Yeah.
Like, how easy is that? Buy some spray.
Exactly.
It's not rocket science.
Exactly.
Is porn considered cheating?
Maybe if you're doing it together, I don't think it is. Yeah. Not necessarily.
Okay. Before being intimate, is it appropriate to ask your date how many people they've been with?
I think it's appropriate.
Think it's appropriate?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it acceptable to have sex on a first date?
Depends on the situation.
Should you disclose mental health issues early on in a relationship?
Depends. Yes and no. Yeah, that's hard to answer.
Last but not least, what is your favorite sexual position and why?
Ooh, okay, this was that last question.
You know what's coming.
Oh, I don't have sex at all. What are you talking
Sex,
about?
what is that? I'm waiting for marriage.
Well, you'll have to go on a date to find out.
Thank you so much for joining us this week at the Meat Market, and thank you so much to Saima. If you want to snag a date with Saima, go to any of our social media platforms at Meat Market Podcast. And thank you to our sponsor, Tactical Tax Strategies. If you want to keep more of your money in your wallet, you need to go to Tactical Tax Strategies. We'll see you next week at the Meat Market. Oh my God, I just totally got catfished. He looks absolutely nothing like his picture.
So I found out the guy that I've been dating is married with kids. His wife just reached out to me.